Hi, so I'm Martin from JCU. I'm a PhD candidate, and my PhD involves exploring the influences of what frame farmers' attitudes towards the regulations. So what I'm presenting today is kind of a slice of the research that I'm doing. So the aim of the study is to understand the why factors informing cane farmers' attitudes towards the adoption of the regulations and or BMP program. So I'm just going to pop all three of them up here just for simplicity. The problems that the research is investigating is firstly the knowledge of agricultural intensification close to the coast adversely impacts the reef. And what we're specifically talking about here is its impact on water quality going out into the reef lagoon. Secondly, under the current trajectory, the sugarcane industry won't reach the targets set out in the government's Reef 2050 plan for regulation adoption. And thirdly, the challenges for researchers in understanding what influences farmer attitudes and decisions to adopt or not adopt the regulation to a BMP across a heterogeneous population. So the purpose of undertaking the research is to develop an improved behavioural model to explain the phenomena of adoption, which hopefully will lead to an improved understanding of the why factors and their impact on farmer attitudes and decision making in response to the regulations and BMP. And this knowledge in turn may lead to an improved industry policy and better collaboration across the key stakeholders. So the approach we've taken for conducting the research is a grounded theory study. And a grounded theory study is a process or a methodology which is a way of explaining the phenomena which is grounded in the data. And unlike, say, thematic analysis, grounded theory is a very rigorous process through which you go through. It really gets down into the weeds to investigate the phenomena. And the study involved then conducting semi-structured interviews across two stages. So stage one was non-farmers, and non-farmers were prominent industry stakeholders from government and non-government sectors. And then stage two were farmers, and they were across the four primary cane growing areas in Queensland. And the questions for stage one non-farmers were informed by the results of a document analysis conducted of 42 reports and studies over a 6-year period, so from 2017 to 2022. And the findings from non-farmer interviews informed the questions of the farmer interviews. So looking at the results, stage one and stage two. Stage one, we have non-farmer interviews revealed that farmers evaluate regulations and BMP adoption through a relational lens, both at a cognitive and affective level, meaning farmers' decisions are shaped by multiple factors which can be grouped into three core categories. So we have identity, trust, and agency. The interaction of these core categories are what primarily inform farmers' attitudes towards the regulations and BMP. And then when we consider farmer interviews, they reveal more detail about the phenomena, including respect. Respect is also a core category. So for the farmers, the core categories are the respect, identity, trust, and agency. And they just so happen to work out to spell out RETA, which is how I remember it. So when considering these categories, it is important to note they're both dynamic and interactive, therefore shown as overlapping. What this means is a shift or change in one can impact one and more of the other categories. E.g., an increase or decrease in trust, say in the regulator, is likely to have an impact on the other categories. And here we see an example, examples of interviews extracted, coded to one of the 4 core categories supporting the notion of the influence on adoption. With respect, here we have a farmer expressing a feeling of disappointment that the government doesn't value the farmer's opinion. With identity, the farmer is expressing a sense of place identity, both cognitively and effectively. With trust, the farmer is cognitively acknowledging that he would trust his neighbour. So in the case of trust, we have a example, the farmer is expressing, an agency, the farmer is expressing the emotion of frustration with a loss of autonomy. So for farmers, cognitive and affective evaluations across the 4 core categories, acting independently or in combination, are the primary factors informing attitudes towards the regs and BMP adoption. Our understanding of each of the core categories comes via unpacking them into subcategories. So, and this accommodates for the existing theories relating to decision-making and behaviour. So I'm going to put the 4 out. With interpersonal behaviour, we have a farmer expressing that they're trusting their own knowledge informing their decision-making, not the regulations methodology in regards to their farming practices. Interpersonal trust is, in this case, farmers expressing his trusting other farmers. With systems trust, here we're stepping into not trusting. So the farmer is expressing not trusting the cultivation method defined in the regulations. And similarly, also not trusting in institutional trust, not trusting the government's intentions, hence by default not trusting the regulations. So from the results of the 2 stages of interviews, this model shows how the 4 core categories fit into the larger behavioural model, explaining farmers' attitudes towards regulation and BMP adoption. So it fits in between background factors and attitudes. This model accommodates for the primary variables also of current behavioural theories, such as the theory of reasoned action and theory of planned behaviour, and also the theory of interpersonal behaviour. So what the core categories offer is, I'll pop them out. So what the core categories offer is various things. I'll start again, sorry. Through the inclusion of the core categories in a behavioural model, we get a better explanation of the variation in response by farmers to the regulations. So what we have is a very large population. Oh, thank you. We have a very large population of farmers, but they don't respond equally. There's quite a variation of farmers, so the model assists us in understanding why that's happening. Why farmers would use different decision cycles. So what we have is an evaluated cycle. We have a low evaluated cycle, and low evaluated cycles are the use of heuristics routines, and a non-evaluated cycle, habits. So this model includes that as well. And if the farmer has low trust in the regulations, practice, or respective government, they're more likely not to engage in trialling, which is a static cycle. So it'll be the low and non-evaluated cycle. Our research reveals that the core categories are important considering because of their impact on farmers' attitudes and decision-making towards the regulations and BMP adoption. We see including these core categories could offer government an improved industry understanding and connection, leading to higher farmer engagement, enhanced efficiency on current policy instruments, and improved value for the taxpayer. Thank you for listening.